What about
It was especially when they were starting out in the 90s. Welcome to another episode of Football Theory with your hosts, Ivan and Guti. Guti, how you doing, man?
I'm great. Excited to be here. Episode 8.
Episode 8. That's right. Guti came in with that fresh cut. A nice lower in the ears, getting fresh because if I'm correct, you're heading to Vegas this weekend for the Gold Cup final.
I am going to go to Vegas. So shout out to my barber, Yudi, who hooked me up right now. A little one on the side, just a little nice fade, nothing crazy to get ready for Vegas.
So in meeting him there, could be Mexico. They won the quarterfinals game on Saturday. They beat Honduras, took care of them 3-0. Pretty dominant performance. Goals from Fujimori early on. Couple of goals called offsides. Jonathan Dos Santos with a beautiful volley. Orbelin Pineda with a header as well to finish it off. And just a complete dominance in the first half for Mexico. Second half, more just kind of saw the game out. Finally, a performance I think that everybody was expecting from Mexico. Guti, what do you think?
Yeah, I think everything was just hitting on point. You know, you just said like the 3 goals are kind of plays that Mexico had been working, even going back to the Trinidad and Tobago game where just some nice crosses in, try to get that second rebound. And Funes Mori was able to get it on the first try on the header. You know, like you said before, Berlin had the same almost identical play as well. And then just seeing Jonathan being able to come from the midfield, score goals. That's the way Tata kind of wants midfielders to be scoring goals too. That's why he only plays with that 1-9. So I think it's just one of those games, just everything worked out in the first 30 minutes, 35 minutes, and Honduras was done at that point.
Yeah, we talked about a little bit of Honduras' problem entering the game with some injury, some COVID stuff, and you can see they were just pretty undermanned the whole game. And Mexico, for their part, really took it at them, made sure that they were on the front foot, even when things kind of got, some goals were called offsides or some things like that could have frustrated them. They really just kind of kept the pedal to the metal the first half and really just ended this game by halftime, really made it really comfortable for themselves.
Yeah, man, everything just worked out for Mexico against Honduras. Just going off of all the plays they were talking about, the goals came off the same chances that they were trying to create against other teams. So I think everything just worked out for them. Honduras ran out of gas, like you said. Honduras had some players out because of COVID. And it was just a typical kind of a Mexico start that we wanted to see in the rest of the Copa Oro. That we didn't see the first 2 group games, right?
Yeah, I think now the team kind of gets confidence about that too, because I saw some really good performances. Like you talked about Jonathan playing with confidence and what he brings to the table. I think that's a player that really trusts, and you see it, and you saw it today, or you saw that game, why he likes playing him and the things he does pretty well against competition like that. Fujimori's finally getting the goal, or getting some goals in again, and you kind of saw what he brings to the table. Yeah. And Orbelin coming back, bouncing back real nicely as well. And the team still hasn't given up a goal, which is impressive, because I think for the most part, the defense might be what a lot of Mexican fans don't trust the most, even though the offense isn't scoring goals. The defense is, I think, where people don't feel the most confident in, considering who we have on the back line. I think a lot of people would want a different back line almost.
The back line's okay. The back line's okay. Like you said, it's all right. It's probably not like how do I say this? They're probably not the best. They're not at their moment right now. Like they're probably not at the hype of their career or the height of their career. Like, Moreno obviously is one of the best defenders we have, but maybe he's not at that. I don't know. I've never been a fan of Araujo either, so I don't know. The people are kind of like, well, these aren't the best defenders we have available. Maybe that's why they're thinking that, but it's okay. I would say our defensive line is probably a B defensive line. I think you have a couple players that are missing here and there, and you could plug in some guys from the Olympics too. But it's okay. It's getting us by.
Yeah, it is getting us by. And, I think one of the things that's pretty underrated about, or something that we as fans don't think about too much when it comes to international soccer, is the fact that sometimes you just need really good cohesion. And in a defensive line, it's not having about the best players. You need them to kind of know each other and have good chemistry in the back line.
Right.
And I think, Juan Carlos Osorio, for I think a lot of things he did positively, you kind of sometimes saw a dysfunctional back line, or a team that didn't mesh completely defensively in the back line at times, because he did rotate a lot of players, where here I think they kind of know each other pretty well for the most part with Tata. But I mean, I guess for you, who would you be if you could choose? Let's say the World Cup's in a year away. Who do you kind of see right now in the pecking order for the back line? I guess who do you like? Because there's two ways of thinking about it, right? So what's Tata gonna do, and who do you want or who do you like?
You know, my likes are a little bit different. I think I can hear myself again. What? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, there's no feedback. For my defensive likes, you know, I don't know. I guess it's something my uncle told me. Bringing back to him, shout out to my tío Jose in Boise. He said, "Mijo, you want Rafa Marquez, and he's not coming back." So, like in my mind, there's like this like nostalgia of like players like Carlos Salcido, players that like I just grew up watching. I'm like, I want this kind of guy, and they're not there. So I don't know. I'm not too picky. I really do like how Johan Vasquez played the first game in the Olympics. I didn't like how he played the second game, but a player like that, we'll see how he grows in a couple months. You know, I know it's really quick for the World Cup qualifiers, and I don't think Tata has time to kind of experiment with that, right, Ivan? I mean, I think he has to go straight to like, we need to get these points and get these results right away. So with that, you're going to have to see Hector Moreno, you know, a veteran who's going to get some playing time in Monterrey. Obviously, he's going to be playing, probably starting this course. So, you know, you're going to have a player like him. You know, Chaka's going to play in Tigres, right? You know, and that's kind of like the benefit of having these guys play in the Liga MX is that if they're good enough defenders, they're actually getting playing time in their home league, you know, and not having to worry about defenders that are playing in Europe and not getting ticks, you know, and then come World Cup qualifying, they don't have that, you know, playing rhythm. So I think it's okay to have some guys playing in Monterrey and Tigres, you know. I think it's gonna be all right. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I think for me, I think the defender he likes the most, or I think maybe the one, I don't know, the one I have the most confidence in, and I don't know why, is Carlos Salcedo, because I think he's a gamer. I think in the moment, he appreciates the moment. He also he sees every opportunity to foul as a way to foul because he's never seen a foul and not passed it up. So, I think
I love him.
I think he gets a little older. You hopefully kind of get those little dumb fouls. He kind of gets out of the way, but he's a gamer and he's not afraid to kind of put in a tackle to kind of set the tone too, which I think sometimes is needed. And he's pretty versatile. He can play a lot of different positions too.
He's probably the most athletic one, you know, out of the guys.
He's you know, you can always kind of count on almost kind of like sometimes a boneheaded mistake every once in a while with him.
He's done them. He's done them very often.
Se le sube sangre sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I think. But then we could say, I mean, going back, I don't know, we're getting off topic, but Rafa Marquez, that was the biggest thing he had the first 10 years. You know, like when he was in Barcelona doing his thing in his heyday, the biggest thing with Mexico was like if things weren't going right, he would do a bonehead play, you know, and I never got mad at him for that kind of stuff. I mean, you're speaking to a guy that got red cards at the wrong moments for his team as well. I'm probably infamous for that, and I don't take pride in that. I wish I would have thought a little more through it, but I think Carlos Salcedo does that. He kind of says, you know what, like I'm gonna get a foul here, I'm gonna get a yellow or whatever, but you know you're gonna know what's up. You know, this is my area right here, and or he even just does a little payback. He does some paybacks here and there. I mean, Rafa Marquez used to do that. I mean, he went into Howard, cleats up. You know, he gave McBride or whatever, you know, or was it Kobe Jones, whoever he gave it to in the back of the head. I mean, it's I guess it's titled dirty, but I think also these defenders are, you know, a guy like Salcedo and Rafa Marquez are guys that like are in the game and like they don't want to lose, you know, and they're upset and they're gonna take it out on the guy that's right there. So I'm okay with it. It's part of the game, man. It's part of the game.
Yeah, I think these guys are the team in general is finding their rhythm pretty nicely now here moving forward. Looking at before we move on to the other games of the quarterfinals, any last thoughts on Honduras, especially, you know, what you saw out of them now and then moving forward as well into World Cup qualifying?
I think Honduras is in trouble. I thought of them really highly before the Copa Oro. I thought of them really highly, speaking of like World Cup qualifiers 2 months ago with you. But right now, if we look at the panorama of how everything's kind of shaping up, El Salvador is on the way up. And I think Honduras is on the way. I don't even know if they're on the way down. I don't know where they are. So the good thing is they have players in the Olympics that could probably help them as well in the World Cup qualifier. So it's not like they have their full squad. So we'll see how they do. But I think they're going to be playing around with that 5th position, you know? So I don't know. I would go away. If I'm Honduras, I'd go away from this Copa Oro kind of having a lot of questions about everything.
Yeah, this game especially. But yeah, I think they are kind of on the way down. You know, they're still using some OG players on their
Minor
squad.
Figueroa. Minor Figueroa.
Yeah, Figueroa. I mean, Benston's been there a while as well. So if they're going to rely on them for World Cup qualifying, it's going to be tough for them. But some Potosilo, always a tough player to play, especially if they have that
Yeah.
afternoon kickoff and the grass a little high. So, but I'm with you. I think there's some teams that, and we're going to talk about some of them in a second, where they're on the way up, and then Honduras kind of on the way down. Speaking on that, the Mexico will play the winner of Costa Rica, Canada, and it was Canada coming away with a 2-0 win. Speaking about a team kind of that we also kind of thought was on their way down, Costa Rica, and the team on their way up, Canada 2-0 win. What do you think about that? This is a big win for them. I think this is the first time they really get a signature win against a team from Central America. These type of results they're going to need moving forward.
Yeah, Canada's like, I don't know. They're like that one team that like they're good because they have players playing places. I just don't think as a team they figured it out yet. But they have like some players that play here and there. They're going to be okay. Speaking of that game, like with Costa Rica, like we both kind of agree that they were on their way down. Like this is kind of the last push with those group of players they have. Ryan Reese. Obviously, Keylor Navas is not there, but he's also part of that group of older guys. What was the other guy that you were saying? Who's the guy?
Borges been there.
Yeah, Borges. Yeah, Borges. So players like that. I mean, Campbell's still young, but he's like probably in his prime right now at this moment. So I don't know. I just think this Costa Rica, they're only a few pieces away. I don't think they're that bad. That game against Canada, they didn't attack at all. They really had no opportunities. So I don't think Canada's that much better. I just don't think Costa Rica put out their best team that day. I really don't think. So we'll see.
I think for Canada, this is a good result because they're missing their two best players before a tournament. Larkin, their best attackers, out as well, and so many times we in the past I've kind of waited for them. They've had these opportunities, like not in the Gold Cup, but qualifying, like, oh, they get a result here, they're gonna really prove something. And for them to do it here, it gives them confidence because they didn't get the result against the USA earlier in the tournament in a game where they created some good chances. And here they created so many more chances. Costa Rica didn't have a shot on target.
Nope.
And they really just took it to them. And I think now moving forward to Mexico, I think Mexico are still favorites, but Canada has gained confidence in the U.S. game and what they created, in the Costa Rican game in finishing the chances they created. And, now for Canada, perfect opportunity for them where they got nothing to lose really now. Now they're playing with house money. They got the signature win for them. And now they go up against Mexico where they have nothing to lose.
They have nothing to lose. Like I said, I think this is where they mark their, probably one of their best finishes they've had. I know they won the Copa Oro, right? 2000.
2000? But
yeah, 2000.
It's been
in
a
2000
while.
they won. I don't remember watching that. So, hey, they got the result against Costa Rica. They take advantage of a Costa Rica team that wasn't at their best. I do think, though, if you go to World Cup qualifying in the near future, and you have to play a home and away with Costa Rica, I don't see Canada getting the result in Saprissa Stadium. Or wherever they're going to play. I don't see that, or Nacional, wherever they play. And
going to Toronto, going to
I think they can split. I think they can split a series. They could either tie some points or share some points for sure.
Because I think for a lot of these Central American teams, it's gonna be tough going up to Canada. Especially once October, November, even March. Still could be cold. Still pretty cold in Canada around that time of year where.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for Mexico too. Go up there.
Those are gonna be the majority of them. That's where you're gonna get 11. I think 11 of the the qualifiers in that time. So for them to have half of those games there, it gives them a really good chance. Like playing in Ontario, playing in Edmonton, wherever they choose to want to put this game, it's gonna be tough moving forward for them. For anybody going to Canada, I think. Plus, you add the fact they are a little more talented now than they were, and now they're getting confidence. But
I say they're on their way up. They're trying to build a little program. I think they're kind of like a win-win. Whatever happens, but they're going to obviously be in the World Cup the next time around. So I think they just want to build some momentum, see if they can sneak into a World Cup here and get 2 in a row.
Absolutely. And another team on the way up, Jamaica, loses 1-0 to USA in a very even game. And honestly, in a game where the USA goal comes late, Hope, Hoppy, call it what you want. Header off a mistake from Blake, who's usually very consistent for Jamaica, the captain of Jamaica. If you're Jamaica, you kicking yourself, And for USA, you know what? They keep rolling. They keep finding ways to win.
They keep sneaking out. Yeah, they keep sneaking out. They snuck out against Canada. Oh, first of all, they snuck out against Haiti. Okay, Haiti wasn't good enough to beat them, but they couldn't. They weren't rolling over Haiti. They snuck out against Canada, right? And then now Jamaica just didn't want to win. Like straight up did not want to win. Like, yeah, they were putting effort in, but when they got to the goal, like these were the worst shots I've ever seen. It's so soft, or like these little dribblers to the keeper. The first 20 seconds, this guy's like 6 feet away from the keeper and misses it. It could be 1-0 in 20 seconds. So like Jamaica was kind of like, what do we do? We're actually in this game. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And they didn't know what to do.
And you know what? That's actually, I mean, that's something that kind of you learn, right? It really is. You know, you think about, oh, what? Come on, what are they doing? What are they doing? You forget how much, if you're not put in these situations that often, if you don't take advantage of it, it's a lot. It's taught. You know what I mean? Being in tight situations, being in awkward situations, and learning how to get out of them. It's a talent. You know what I mean? It's not accidental. There's a reason some teams really excel at winning tight games and getting results when things look like they're against them or they seem like lucky results, because they put themselves in situations and they know how to get out of these awkward situations. And for the USA, they keep finding ways to kind of get that. It's interesting for them because this team, you know, they're gaining confidence. They now have had 3 shutouts or 4 shutouts out of the games they've played. So their back line is also getting some. They're getting confidence as well, and their matchup is going to be interesting against Qatar, who were in control against El Salvador 3-0. In a couple minutes, El Salvador fight back and make it really interesting for the last 70 minutes. But I guess finishing up with the United States and Jamaica. I mean, for the United States, the only thing that really matters is the result, right?
That's what I'm saying. I think like you just said, you learn how to like finish games or be in close games. I think the U.S. players, I know they haven't played together, but that's probably something they have as far as experience playing wherever they are playing. So they're able to just get through these games that are tight, you know, and that's the only difference between them and the teams they beat, because they were not better than Jamaica on the field. Like Jamaica's midfield was taking every single ball and then they were countering and they were just quick, and Jamaica's missing pieces. Like they can get Antonio from West Ham and just different dudes they didn't call. I mean, Jamaica, every team is missing pieces. It's not their best version of every single team here. So, I mean, we don't know what Qatar else has to have, but I mean, what else they have. But everybody else, like we know there's some pieces missing for every team. So it's going to be exciting, man. I think Jamaica put up a fight. I called them beating U.S., man. I really did. My son did too, and we missed it. But we'll see. U.S. has a big task ahead of them, which is Qatar. And if they leave those kind of spaces, Qatar will score.
Yeah, I mean, quickly there are some players missing for Jamaica. Some guys that they're dual citizens, dual nationality, who, like you said, it's not a lot of teams that have good amount of talent. Not the best teams for a lot of these teams that you're going to see in qualifying, whether it's Jamaica, whether it's Canada, Costa Rica, Mexico, USA. But you are going to see a lot of the same pieces here moving forward. And for them, you know, they've had success in the past in the Gold Cup. A close defeat here. You know, it's not the end of the world for them. I think they are going to be one of those teams battling for that. I think that 3-4 spot is pretty open for any of these teams actually moving forward. I think Mexico, USA are favorites to get the 1-2, but I think after that it's pretty open for everybody, because we've seen Costa Rica and Honduras are on their way down, aren't up to snuff the way they used to, and so it's a perfect opportunity for these guys to come at you to get a result. And that's what we'll talk about that moving forward next month. But I think for Costa Rica, you come out of this tournament disappointed, because I think there was 2 opportunities to get results against Costa Rica and against USA that you didn't get, but it's not failed. And this team has been together. The coach has been there for a while, and good pieces to feel confident moving forward for them.
Yeah, they're looking good.
Yeah, and then so what are we taking away from that El Salvador Qatar game, where Qatar was just from the start full throttle, the way they've been playing all game long, and then El Salvador bounce back and get themselves in the game. They had an opportunity to tie it up. Qatar at least has been the most entertaining team. Lots of goals scored, 2 at the minimum, 3 most. They also allow goals. I think it's going to be a fun game against the USA.
Yeah, they play very open. I think I said it that they were just more athletic than El Salvador. They're going to be more athletic than them. And I said if El Salvador loses the ball, I think that counter is going to hurt them. And Qatar just were all over them at the beginning. They were playing at a different speed. And then once El Salvador took a gain of the ball and let's get the ball going, they scored the third one. It was offsides, so like they were coming back. And huge shout out to El Salvador. Like I said, they're probably like we're kind of all I am at least from far away, kind of rooting for them, their fans, their people, like watching them in the stadium, like being able to go and support their team. Like to me, it's a huge deal. I think culturally, we see Mexico. Obviously, we know we're at home because we're right next door to our homeland. But like seeing El Salvador that has, the challenges of a Salvadorian that have to get to the United States and everything they have to go through to get here. It's just a big shout out to them, man, for being there and being that small country, being that small, a population, and just being excited about their team. Something to be excited about.
Yeah, and again, we'll talk World Cup qualifying moving forward. The OC that's going to be, I mean, they're a lot of confidence to gain from this for the way they played, how they got different results, how they battled. They kept it close with Mexico, had a chance to tie. They fought back against Qatar, so they're not going to quit. Going down to San Salvador, that's going to be a battle for anybody going down there as well. Something similar they love to do. They love that afternoon kickoff. They love this. They love the weather there. Put you in tough conditions, challenge you, take advantage of what they have as a hosting nation for a qualifier. So for hats off for them. I think everybody gained a lot of respect for El Salvador from this tournament. You're seeing what a project looks like when time is taken, when opportunities given, when I think we touched about that last week where they have a plan and they're finding different ways to take advantage of the resources they have and these unique resources, and they're taking full advantage of it too to try to put the best team possible.
Yeah, I mean they got guys that are dual national. I mean they got guys that are tri-national. Even Guatemala did as well, where they have players that are Mexican, Guatemalan, and United States. So these players are not getting opportunities. They're like, hey, I'll go play over there. So it's gonna be cool, man. It's good for the region to get better. We always talk about Mexico needs to be challenged, and I know it's still not the challenge they need compared to CONMEBOL, but we need CONCACAF to be better. We need the fans to show up. They're not just Mexican fans that go to the games. We need these games to be sold out. We need people to watch the games. We need the region to get better. And so that's how the rest of the, everybody else will get better.
Yeah. Okay. So quickly moving forward to, we got the semifinals on Thursday, finals on Sunday. We'll record after those next week. Who do you got in the finals? I think we both got Mexico against Canada. I expect kind of like a 2-0 win, maybe 3-1. I think Mexico will just be too overwhelming for Canada, where they're going to slow the pace down, move the ball around, defensively pressure Canada higher, and kind of be a little too much for Canada. I think they leave with like a 2-0, 3-1 win.
No, I mean, besides the fact that we're rooting for them, I think Mexico's a better team. Mexico's going to have players with more experience than the Canadian players. Obviously Davis is not even there, so you can't count him. And I just think, like I said, overwhelming is a good word, because I feel like with Mexico having the ball and getting in that third, Canada's defensive third, that's a danger play right away. I mean, you've seen it from Orbelin, you've seen it from Funes Mori. If you give him one little space, he's going to touch it and shoot it. So I could just see, Canada is going to be overwhelmed with having to defend these guys and not being able to play that free. So I could see them playing very defensive and hoping to try to get Mexico on a counter or something else.
Yeah,
Mexico's going to win.
Yeah, I think something Mexico's done all tournament long has been they've been the team on the forefront every game. You know what I mean? There's been some times where the other team might have 10 minutes, 15 minutes of the game. I mean, you're not playing alone at the end of the day. But for Mexico, I think for the most part, they've been very consistent in the manner of which they take the games to their opponents. And so I think here it's going to be the same thing for them. And I think Mexico's in the finals, you as well. For the other semifinals, I think USA hasn't played a team that attacks the way Qatar does. And while they have been gaining confidence and getting better, they're still not, this isn't a cohesive unit of a team yet. And this might be just where USA holds on for a bit, but maybe Qatar overwhelms them little by little. I think USA are going to have chances to counter, to get goals. This sets up for a perfect old school USA game where they find these opportunities during set pieces or quick counters to get an opportunity against Qatar. But I think Qatar probably is a little better team entering tomorrow.
I think so too, but I'm still going to get USA on this one. I think USA is going to win this game. I don't think they're better than Qatar. I think Qatar, like we said before, has international experience. They're really not backing down. They're going to go with the ball. And I think if US just based on what US has done. If USA plays the way they played against any of these teams they played, except Martinica, Qatar will score the opportunities that ID had no chance of scoring, that Jamaica did not want to score. If you give Qatar those kind of spaces, bro, they're going to put them away. So that's going to be dangerous for the United States. I think they're going to respect that a little bit. But I still feel like it's going to be something like the Jamaica game where Qatar might have the ball a little more. Qatar might look like they're more dangerous, but I see USA winning off like one goal off a header or something, minute 82 or something.
All right, so I got Qatar in the finals against Mexico. You got USA against Mexico in the finals. I got Mexico winning it on Sunday in Las Vegas. I think with Qatar, my final idea is I don't think it'll be a high scoring affair. I think it'll be more like I can see like a 2-0 win. I think the thing for Mexico is the fact that they just haven't allowed a goal. I think they're very confident defensively, even though they kind of do these wonky things every once in a while. But for me, the most pleasing game is Qatar, Mexico in the final, and Mexico kind of just shows their quality over time and knows how to siphon and slow down this Qatar team where they have the talent with like Corona, if he's on Orbelin, if he's on Fujimori's up top to take advantage, unlike some of these other teams that haven't been able to against Qatar more.
Yeah, Mexico's going to outclass either one, Qatar or US in the final. I think the back line is solid. Like you said, the keeper's doing their thing. They have a clean sheet. I think the biggest thing also, like you got to see from game to game, Trinidad and Tobago, the Mexican team came out hard, but they got shook. They got shook by a life-threatening injury here that we didn't know what was going on with Chucky, right? And the fact the referee swallowed his whistle a couple of times, they didn't call like these blatant calls or review them. So Mexico was like, wait, what's going on here? So they were just shook that game. I don't think they played terrible. They were just shook. They didn't get, don't forget, Funes Mori scored a goal that was counted offsides. That wasn't. So, we just keep going that way. Then Guatemala, Mexico showed like maybe half a game of excellence. But then against Honduras, it was just all around, all Mexico, 3-0. They could have scored 6 if they really wanted to keep going. I think at that point, they were just trying to save their legs, get some guys in. Even Pizarro touched the field. So I think Mexico has just been progressing through the tournament. Tata's been finding the little group that he needs. And I think going into, they're going to show their class against Canada. And then whoever they play in the final, Mexico's going to I think with their experience, they're going to outclass them.
All right. Yeah, so there you go. That's our semifinal final preview. We both got Mexico winning. We got different finals set up. But yeah, it all sets it up there. And we're going to take a quick break, be right back, and we're going to head to Japan, where the Olympic Mexico team is now in the quarterfinals as well. All right, welcome back to Football Theory here with Guti and Ivan. Guti, we're going to head to Japan, where the Olympic Mexico team, over the time we've recorded, they've played all 3 of their group games. 4-1 win against France, a 2-1 defeat against Japan, and then a win against South Africa yesterday in the early morning. Or was it this morning?
It was this morning, but yeah.
These times get me. But yeah, 3-1 win. I mean, and now they got a quarterfinal game against South Korea. What has been your take so far of this Olympic team?
Well, I'm really tired, man, because the first day, I tried to wake up, got the result. I got to see it at 6 a.m. instead. So I just made sure I didn't touch my phone and I was able to catch that. Second time, I woke up at 4. I was really pissed because Japan was on top of us for the first 15 minutes. Maybe made us look really bad. So yeah, just coming away with this, like, to be honest, I just felt like, it's a group stage, and group stages are what they are. Like, you don't have to win every game in the group. You're going to play teams that are better than you. You're going to play teams that play better than you. You're going to catch them on the wrong day or whatever it may be. Against France, Mexico showed they've just been a team that knows each other more. And Gignac said it, Mexico has players that have played first division longer. That's what he said. And then the second game when we played Japan was just at a different speed, like literally a different speed, bro, like just different gear. And Mexico just kind of came out like, holy crap. And by the time they figure it out, they're already down 2-0, and that which I totally believe is a bogus bar PK, which was like a little nail, definitely in a tire, like a flat tire that Mexico was already like dragging along. It's like they're already playing bad. They've already given a goal. They don't even know what they're doing. And then you make up a PK. So like mentally, Mexico was just out of it, right? They needed to get to the halftime. But that one goal they scored, that meant a lot, because then it means the third game you didn't need to, get a crazy result or anything like that. So, at the end of the day, it's a group stage. They took care of, they won 2 games, even though it looks kind of sour because we want to win every game. But 6 points out of 9 is not a big deal. I think South Korea is better than Japan from what I've seen. They scored a lot of goals, but it's going to be a close one. Mexico has to be. I think Mexico's benefit is that they played Japan, and I know it's like kind of weird, but like, you know, their teams from the Asian continent, but at least they can kind of have some idea like, okay, we can't play that slow. Like we can't play this like pass the ball Mexican soccer style. We're gonna have to like take it to them. You know what I mean? We can't let South Korea have the ball.
Yeah, you make a good point about, at the end of the day, it is group stages and it's about navigating a group and getting out. And, this was probably the toughest group on paper. Um, you know, the South Africa game, Mexico was just better. They took advantage of it, overwhelmed them with talent. For the Japan game, you gotta give credit to Japan. They're taking this very seriously. They're the host nation. They have a lot of good players on their team.
Mm-hmm.
They are very fast. They attack with a purpose. They play like a team that's been together for a while. And defensively, they're where they decide to pressure Mexico in these two blocks. How quickly they were putting people around Mexico. They really suffocated that Mexican attack and really slowed down any opportunity Mexico had to really get anything. And I thought, and the France game, like Gignac said, that was a very good Mexico performance against a France team that they should be. And France landed so many goals in this whole group stage where they weren't up to par. But Mexico, Mexico played well and played really well that game too. So I think for me, Japan's probably been the second best team I watched behind Brazil from what I watched, from what I've enjoyed. Yeah. I think they played really well, and I don't think there's anything. Sometimes we just have to get credit to the opponent instead of finding blame for Mexico's performance. Sometimes we just need to give credit to Japan and the things that they did well, because they're preparing themselves as much as they can too. And like some of these teams are taking it more seriously than others in the Olympics, but Japan's one of those teams that are taking it very seriously, and you see it here. And I think sometimes we don't need to find blame. I think sometimes instead just give a compliment where it's due. And I think for Japan, that game they're good. They're very good. I think they were the odds of them were like third favorite to win, and you kind of see why, because what they did was very impressive. And they just actually for that game, I thought Mexico needed to give Japan more of the ball, because if Japan had more of the ball, that would have allowed for more counters, open up the game more, and have these little opportunities for them. For Mexico, that just never really happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everybody just started off on the wrong. They weren't. Mexico just didn't play their game. And Japan was way faster, and they didn't take risks, and they just put away opportunities that they had. Right? They put away the two they had, and that was it. And Kubo, he's dope. He's hella young, and most of that team is young. I think we should have called our Kubo, but that's a different story. But yeah, but Japan looks dope, and Mexico just traditionally, man, I swear it seems like every tournament we play, we either play South Korea or Japan. Now we're playing both in the same tournament. Like World Cup, since I remember, we've played South Korea. And I think just friendlies or confederation, whatever, we play Japan. It's always been a tough game. We're not going to just run over them. Like they're legit. They take it serious, like you said. They don't take risks. They play together as a unit. And I think we just depend on our individualities at that point to try to win the game. And we weren't ready for that game. No way.
Yeah. I think what's going to help them is coming out of this group that's a little more difficult against Korea. They kind of probably have the easiest group, I thought.
Yeah.
I expect them to beat South Korea. I think it's going to be another tough game, but I think, there is a learning opportunity that they can create. And, they do have a little more depth compared to some of these other teams. And here's an opportunity to show it. So, for them, I still expect them to make it to semifinals, to face Brazil in that semifinals for me, I think, from what I've seen. And, there's been some really good performances, some not great performances. I think I've expected more from Cesar Montes, who has given up 2 PKs. The midfield isn't clicking as well as I was hoping it would be, especially that Japan game, a little slow touches, really heavy touches where the pressure of Japan, they just pounced on it and won the ball back. But there have been some impressive performances. Varga has been great for Mexico. Atuna was good in the last game as well. Lainez was, I think I've seen a lot of things from Lainez that I like, and the things that make him, what people really like about him, he does really well too.
Yeah.
And, it's been a different combination of things, but I think I'm getting more positives than negatives so far.
I think you don't learn from a win, right? You learn from losing. So if you can lose in a group and somehow still get out of it, it's not a bad idea, and also the fact that Mexico played, I'm telling you, they played an Asian team, right? An Asian continent team, like from the, same confederation. I mean, they can at least have a little more respect for South Korea when they go play them. You know, like, hey, this team is going to be, you know, they've scored more goals than Japan. They've shown that they have more goals than Japan does, but we have to be ready to play them. You know, we can't play at a different gear. We can't be slow. Romo has to carry. Romo, the players that we took as older guys have to carry this group. You know what I mean? The same way Oribe Peralta took the team on his back last time, or in 2012, sorry. Carlos Salcido was there as a veteran, right? And obviously Corona. You know, we've seen it from Ochoa. We've seen what he could do. We've seen his leadership. Henry Martin, I guess they're saying he's playing really well. The way his style of play, I guess, is fitting. But Romo has to step it up, man. He's going to have to show us why he's there. Why is he the OG that's there?
Yeah, I think, you know, his game is, for me, Romo has always been a kind of guy, like, you don't notice him until he's not there. Has always been, you know, there's players like that, you know what I mean, where they do so much, and then when they're not there, you realize, oh, there's something missing, something's not clicking. And I think that's probably needs to see a little bit more of that from him. But, you know, with Rodriguez gone with a stupid red card that he got, here's an opportunity for him that he does need to step up and really.
Well, he's gonna play. Yeah, now he's gonna play a different role, right? I think they put him at the defensive, and then give someone else opportunity to go up. But this is where I don't know. Now I'm kind of questioning. Maybe they should have took Edson Alvarez and switched them out. Maybe Romo could be in Copa Oro instead. Depending on what unit they're with. I don't know. Edson Alvarez is come on, man.
No, yeah, but Edson Alvarez is doing so much for the national team, and that's fine. You know, I actually never gonna let him go probably either. So
no, I'm just saying. Okay, yeah, man. So by that time, he said they'd be in the semifinal. I think that Brazil team, Richarlison and those guys, I mean, they're playing at different speed. So you can just tell, right? They're just playing quicker. Like, oh crap. So, you know, Mexico has a tough road, but if you want to be a champion, you're gonna have to beat whoever you play.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, I think this team does go to the semifinals. You know, from there, you know, who knows? They do tend to step up, like, especially against Brazil. You know, I think Mexico has had problems against teams like Argentina, but from Brazil, for some reason, something about them in a lot of different.
Hey, we won a gold medal before Brazil ever did. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah,
you can ask Marcelo, Neymar, Juan, Thiago. You can ask all those guys how they feel about that one. So yeah.
Absolutely. And you know, I think for me, what I've got, you've seen guys that can't step up, and you can see them, especially I'm talking about World Cup qualifying in the future, where they can add depth, because you're going to need to have some rotation, you know.
Alexis Vega needs to be on the senior team. Yeah, Alexis Vega has to be a sub. He has to be a sub.
Yes. I think the thing is, even if it's, you know, with Vega, you know, even Linus or and then Atuna too, I still don't see them starting if we have all our spots, all our horses.
And that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah, because Corona is at the peak of him as a player. You know, he was a year removed from being the best player in Portugal at the right wing. You know, when he's on, no one does what he does for Mexico. He needs, you know, he's a starter. Chucky, he's a starter. You know what I mean? So you know, those kind of positions, they're not going away anywhere. You know, Herrera, he's a starter. You know, Edson Alvarez, defensive midfielder, he's not going anywhere.
No, there's guys that are definitely like getting their spot. Jonathan Dos Santos is a guy that's going to always be a sub as well. Romo's going to try to squeeze in there. Guti just plays at a slower speed I don't like, but he is solid. But if Guardado's there, if Jonathan's there, like, I don't see Guti getting the minutes like that. So the midfield is kind of deep. It's really deep, actually. You know, but
we're kind of fighting for that one spot. Even like, Guardado doesn't have the legs to give you 3 games in a row. But, you know, I think in a big game, Guardado starts. So you're almost talking about, like, just looking for rotation spots at this point. You know what I mean? But it's a lot. There's a lot of players there battling for not lost spots.
But that's good though, right? I mean, finally we have a little, like, this is probably the most deep.
Raul Jimenez is coming back little by little. He's getting more minutes. He's scoring goals. So he looks like, I think in a month and a half's time, come September, I think he'll be up there coming. I think he'll return for Mexico for that.
Yeah, and then you got Funes Mori, who's not going anywhere.
I think has really cemented himself as a solid second. You know, if they, you know, going larger, do you go younger with a third guy, or does he fall on somebody up top, like with a Pulido or something like that? You know,
I don't know. I don't think he's going to go younger, man. I think with Raul Jimenez coming back, if Funes Mori's showing what he can do, Henry Martin's going to be, you know, maybe a sub, but there's too many guys to call at this point, right? And at this point, I'd rather have Alexis Vega coming off the bench. Henry Martin, you know, you need a 15 minutes, a little surge off the bench. Alexis Vega plays at a different speed, bro. Linus, Alexis Vega, and Antuna play at a different speed. Like, they just have a different gear to them. You know what I mean? And Alexis Vega, the thing that he has, he's got body, he's bodying fools and he's got an outside shot that's ridiculous. So I think he's definitely working his way up to being on that 23 man roster.
Yeah, and then even somebody who is starting right now for Mexico that we haven't even talked about in Orbelin. Those are two guys battling for the same spot right there.
Yeah, he's cool too.
So,
yeah. So we'll see. I think, like you said, the World Cup qualifiers are going to be 3-game, like you said, 3-game series, and those. So you definitely need to rotate guys from the first game to the third one. So it's going to be cool to see different people at maybe one group against this team, and then you play a lower level team, so you're going to go with a different group. So a guy like Juan Carlos Osorio, I think he was a World Cup too early then.
All right, let's jot down this idea for future episodes after the Olympics and after the Gold Cup of our 23, or where we see the 23 being after everything we've seen. All right.
Yeah, our depth chart. Yep.
All right, cool. All right, so we'll be right back. We'll hit up Liga MX after the opening weekend and 50-50. Then we'll get out of here with Football Theory. All right, welcome back to Football Theory, and quickly, we're going to touch on the opening weekend of Liga MX. Guti, kind of a wonky time just because you do have so many players, players in Copa Oro, you have guys in the Olympic team. Mm-hmm. So a lot of teams opening up kind of a step behind. But what were you any first impressions from the opening weekend that really surprised you or that you liked, what you didn't like? I can assume what you didn't like.
I don't expect much from my Chivas team. I think I'm probably the worst fan. That I don't expect much from my team right now. And that's bad. When I don't expect much is because I feel like I'm a bigger fan than most people because I could actually see like the project at large, right? Kind of like with my Sacramento Kings. Like, yeah, I'm a Kings fan, but I know we're not going to win next season. So why do I even get excited? Doesn't mean I don't like them. It just, I go into the season knowing, come on, bro. Right. So Chivas, the same thing. You don't see an investment from the owner. You don't see the young guys get an opportunity to get called up. You have older guys still taking spots. You got players in the Olympics. You got players in Copa Oro there, here and there. And so, Tatas took a good defender and hasn't even played him. Tiba Sepúlveda, right? And then Jimmy Lozano takes, El Nene Beltran and never played him. So it's like, so they got players that are starters on Chivas team not there. It's not good, man. It's not looking good. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it's funny, and I think the bigger problem for Chivas move is you're gonna get people wanting to get these players. I mean, I think he's ready for Europe.
I'm okay with that, and I'm okay with
it. Probably needs to be challenged in Europe because the things that he needs to work on, he needs to be in an environment where he's being challenged with those weaknesses. I mean, the speed's there, his touch isn't there yet as much. I think and I think someone like Atuna, he is just a couple of years too long in Liga MX, and he turns into Jürgen Damm. You know what I mean? All speed, nothing else, and then the rest of his game doesn't develop. And you know what I mean? You don't want those players to kind of be wasted with that. So, yeah, Chivas are kind of in this pickle for them, and I don't see it getting any better. I was impressed with, I don't know if I was impressed, but Tigres, I like, a team missing players. Herrera, a lot of pressure on him, everything there, and they get a 2-1 win. I think it was a kind of perfect result for them and for him, especially with, not a lot happened in that game, but it shows what happens with a veteran coach and veteran players, and they can find a way to get results and get things done for them. So, for Tigres, I was impressed with that result. You know what I mean? Just kind of finding a way to get things and having a lot of players missing too. Good result for them.
Yeah, I think the one we're not talking about is America didn't show up at all. Cruz Azul didn't show up at all. So it's week one. I know they all mean something, but every time there's Copa Oro or some kind of summer activity with the national teams, Liga MX kind of takes 2-3 weeks to get going, and so especially when the guys get back and, at least, and speaking of my Chivas players leaving, I know people on Twitter are very upset. Oh, they're going to leave. Vega's playing so good, he's going to leave. I've never been that kind of guy to hold a player back. So if he does get an opportunity, hey, by all means, go do your thing. Because that's why I like Chivas, because they give Mexican players opportunities, and hey, they get an opportunity to go to Europe, do it. So it's all good, man. I mean, I'm hoping that they figure something out, and we'll check back in a couple weeks, see how we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to take probably until September till you see all these teams at full strength really clicking.
Yeah.
Even a team like Leon just getting blown out in the first week.
And new coach.
Very surprising. New coach, yeah. Pachuca coming in hot. My Atlas probably should have gone the result against Pumas, but they didn't. But that's very classic.
Bro, I am not watching. I try to watch. I watched most of it. Atlas Pumas 12 o'clock or 10 o'clock Pacific on a Sunday.
That's old school.
Holy moly, dude!
That's old school, right?
Like
there,
not even their parents watch those games, bro. Come on.
That's old school right there, baby.
So I went to Pumas Puebla 3 years ago in Seoul. It was hot, and
I can imagine.
Oh my, no shade, and yeah. So anyway, but that Atlas kid is good, man. Little Marquez, Jeremy Marquez, like he's doing his thing, and hopefully he gets opportunity to go to maybe Chivas or something. Give him opportunity to go somewhere.
All right. Moving on to 50-50. Go with the Yanni 50-50s.
I'm just gonna go with this, man. It's been something that's been on our mind. And speaking of mind and mental health, Simone Biles, stepped down right before her big event. Told her team she wasn't gonna do it. What are your thoughts on that, man?
I mean, I can't judge somebody because I've never been in that place. So if she didn't feel she was confident to get things done that was best for her team, what I've heard from other people, especially in gymnastics, you're doing all these spins, you're doing all these things, you really have to be confident about it. You know what I mean? You can't.
It's dangerous. Yeah.
Be making these moves, these tosses, and having your body contort in all these ways, and not feel confident you're going to land, because that's potentially super dangerous. You know what I mean? Just you could land on your neck, you could do this. So yeah, and you even have people trying to compare, like, oh, what if Jordan left doing this, that. Jordan retired twice, for the record. He retired twice. He didn't retire after, like, in the middle of the playoffs, but he's retired twice. And the first time, if you remember the documentary, he said he was thinking about retiring a year before. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I think we just didn't use the word mental health before, like the term before.
Yeah.
I think people just use it something else, but definitely they're taking on this role of, like, all the lights on them, and I saw a meme that said, people were upset that they had nothing to. They're upset that she didn't win, so they couldn't talk shit about her, So let's be real. Like, it's not like people are going to be celebrating it. A lot of people there's haters on both sides, but yeah, I mean, hey, if you don't feel like you could do it, then we're going to see that more and more now.
U.S. Olympics, the U.S. Olympic program has some major problems, some major flaws,
especially in gymnastics.
Especially in gymnastics, when we talk about all these things. So there's so much that these athletes go through, and at such a young age, where Simone Biles is kind of almost old for her sport. You know what I mean? She's an OG for her sport.
I know. I swear, I feel like she's been there forever. I'm like, damn, when is she gonna stop?
And when you look at some in general, yeah, it's true. When you look at what the average age of that kind of sport is, but she has all these Olympic medals, all these world championships, and she's had to go through this program that's terribly ran, that's shady as hell, and that hides all these things. That's a whole episode you can go through. Yeah, so for her,
that's for a 30-30 though. That's for a 30-30.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, man. What you got?
Yeah, I'm good with that. So I'm good with Simone Biles. So my 50-50, USA women's national team, where are you at? How are you feeling about them? Are you ready to give them out, red card? Are you ready to play on? Or
we need to get some physical cards, bro. Like, that's what we need to do, get some physical cards.
They got a match up against the Netherlands World Cup finals rematch in the quarterfinals.
I think people have criticized it before. I've heard it on different podcasts. They shouldn't have called these same players. I think there's like a little bit of sense of, like, it was too easy. I think Rapinoe even said it before. I don't know if they misquoted her, but she said that, this team is too good for the Olympic, tournament. So stuff like that. I don't know if the coach is the guy for that job. So I don't know, man. I think this is a good shaking go ahead and shake this tree a little bit and change things around in U.S. soccer for women's. I think, you beat up on your region. So like I told you before, they beat up on the region so much that they have no competition. These European countries, they already have the blueprint, how football really works, bro. So they're just going to take it to the women's game. It's not going to take long for these European countries to be better than the United States.
Yeah, I think, I've never liked the idea of, like, oh, this is revenge, because even if you win, you're not getting back what you lost. You know what I mean? So, this can be a sign of revenge for the Netherlands, maybe, but it's not revenge because they're not going to give you that World Cup title back. You're not winning the medal that you lost there. So, but it's a great opportunity for the Netherlands. I think if US wins that, I think they do beat Brazil, and I think they're in the gold medal game. I think the Netherlands one is the winner of that one goes to the gold medal. Okay. But I think it's I find it funny to list whenever there's a result that isn't a win for the women's national team, because a lot of their fans are complaining about having to wake up and watch them. It's like, yeah, welcome to the club, baby. This is what you knew here, because this is the way it is when your team isn't the world champions and winning game after game after game.
They're not mad.
You wake up at 1 o'clock. You wake up at 4 o'clock to watch your team possibly not get a result.
They're not mad about that. They're mad about the result. Yeah, they're mad about the result. They're not mad about getting up because, I think they love watching the U.S. women just run over everybody, like I was saying before. And you just tied 2 games. You got shut out in 2 games. So, no, and obviously you held a shutout, but, you're supposed to be the world champions and 4-time world champions, whatever they are. And we know these big household names they have. Like, there's really no excuses right now at this point.
Yeah,
so
it gives them the way the women's game's kind of set up. You got the World Cup in odd year, the year after the men's World Cup, and then you got the Olympics usually a year right after. Kind of hard to start over with that. So I can see how you kind of have to leave this, but I've been a big proponent that the team does have this girl boss, mean girl kind of energy to it, with the way that how long the players have been there. So in that regard, what I mean, not the players themselves, but just how long the players have been there.
It's all marketing, right? Once these dollars get behind these players, these big names that we know, Alex Morgan, Rapinoe, right? Kristen Press, all these big names, like these sponsors want to see these same people on the field too. So it's not about just rotating players in and out.
So now here's so I think after the Olympics is where, there really should be an opportunity to how you change it up from here to 2 years from your World Cup. Are you doing actually something different? Or are you kind of going back to the same thing? Are you going to challenge yourself to change it up, or are you going to go back? So now I think after the Olympics, there's no excuse moving forward, especially if you don't win it, to not change it up and to bring in some.
No, it's time. It's time. They have time to change it up. They got 2 years to get ready, right? To 2023. Yes. So this is a learning lesson. Whether they win it or not, they're going to have to change some names around.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but where do you think? Okay, so quickly though, where do you think you're at? Because I think if they win, I think they're in the finals for me. But how about you?
Yeah, I want to see them in a real competitive game that they have to win. I think the group stage is too comfortable. So like you said, I think you kind of hit on the head. If Netherlands could win that game, they're going to win the whole thing. If US can win that game, then they're just going to pick up some steam and kind of say, ladies, we're used to winning. Let's do this. So I think this is a big game for them. Huge game for them.
Yeah, because, Canada, Brazil, Brazil's been there, a name stake, but I think USA too much for them. And I think they have Canada's number too.
What about the Sweden advance?
Yeah, Sweden, Japan, and Australia and Great Britain is the other side of the bracket.
Yeah, the other side of the bracket is no easy route. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see, ladies. I have no problem waking up at either of those 2 days to watch these games. So for me, I don't know what these fans are complaining about, but that's just me. But yeah,
I'll record it. Watch it at 6 a.m. when I get up. So,
all right, there you go.
Don't text me.
So there you go. That's gonna be our episode for this week. Guti, thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
Any last words for you?
Yeah, I just appreciate everybody who's been on this. We're at over 130 downloads. We're pushing towards our goal of 1 million. So keep it going.
Yep. Thank you. So have fun in Vegas.
Yeah.
You're not just going there to gamble, right? You're going to the game.
I'm gambling by going to the game because I'm expecting my team to be there. So that's the gamble.
That's true.
I have a ticket, flight, and hotel without my team being there. So let's see how that goes.
There you go.
Yeah, Mexico. All right, man. Later.
Everybody, thank you. We love you. Hug your loved ones. Thank you, Guti. That does it for us for Football Theory. Thank you, everybody.
Out. It's kind of like, what was
it was especially when they were starting out.